Hi everyone, I'm Priya Chima, the secondary school counselor at Sunmark School, and I'd like to spend a few minutes today talking to you about intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation, research has found, plays a very important part in building life satisfaction and life's happiness. It actually allows for higher performance, goal achievement, objective achievement, and so why not help our children build it from today onwards? Intrinsic motivation is literally just an inherent enjoyment of an activity itself. And studies have found that intrinsic motivation has three components to it. The first is power. Power meaning autonomy. So this is not about being individualistic or selfish, no. It's about actually feeling like you have the freedom of choice and the freedom of control over the task itself. The second is competence. Competence meaning skill sets, capabilities, abilities, recognizing what you're good at. And finally, the third is significance, and that's really about building a sense of relatedness to the activity. So allowing that activity to have some sort of a meaning for you. Now, how do we do this with our children? Well, first of all, we don't do it with our children through rewards, punishment, or conditions. What does that mean? That means that in terms of the activity itself, we don't actually exert any sort of external control over it, in the sense of, if you do this, you will get this much pocket money. If you don't do this, then I'm going to take away your technology. If you do this, then we will go here. So not to put any sort of external influence or control over the activity is very important, because that's been found to diminish intrinsic motivation. How do we increase intrinsic motivation? Very simply put, verbal praise is really important, because that actually allows our children to build that sense of competence, to believe in themselves and their skill sets. It's also important to be able to recognize that our child might have a different set of skill sets than our expectations. So it's okay to be able to discover those and to be able to praise them for what they are. That also builds self-esteem and motivation, obviously. The second is autonomy, or giving them the choice. So for example, for younger children, if you would like to have your child have all their vegetables at dinner, instead of sort of predetermining for the child and making the choice for the child, put the vegetables on their plate and let them choose which ones they want to eat. And you will find, and in fact research has shown this, that that child will actually most often than not eat all of their vegetables. For the older children, for example, give them the choice and give them the control over things like their study time or their planning schedules, or whether they want to go out with their friends, and allow them to actually self-regulate and understand what the right thing to do is. And you'll find most often than not, again, they will do the right thing. So giving them that autonomy and that choice, of course, making sure that you're keeping them within sort of safety and security limits is important, but explaining to them why those limits are there is as important as teaching them self-regulation. Finally, connectedness. How do we do that? Allow your child to build that sense of relativity or relatedness towards the task or activity itself. Let them find that sense of meaning in it, and the way to do that is really to be able to talk through it. To actually, allow them to talk through it and think through it, but also talk through it with them. So you show them that there is an interest in what they're doing, that you're interested in what they're doing, that there is a connectedness and relatedness to the task as well as to the larger community that they're living in, which is the family. These are some very simple things that we can do, and of course there's so much more we can do to help build intrinsic motivation within our children. If there's any more information that you would like to know about, or if there's anything that you'd like to discuss with me in relation to the topic, you can find me at Sunmark School. Have a nice day.